Hello, this is Wallas, Poland's main toy dude. In today's English toy review, I begin my adventure with Transformers Prime, and I would like to celebrate that by showing you something quite special that I acquired just a few days ago. Before your eyes is Weaponizer Optimus Prime, one of the figures I believe is not yet released, or that will be released in the upcoming months. I think the date for this one is August. Anyway, this review would not be possible if it wasn't for Hasbro Poland, which provided me with this as a review sample, so thank you very much. Now, with that said, as you can see, I shall start my analysis of this Transformer from the vehicle form, despite Prime coming in his robot mode in the box. And before I do anything else in this review, I need to mention one thing. Much like Ultimate Bumblebee from Transformers movie line was built around its voice box entirely, this Transformer as well is built specifically around its weapon gimmick from which the whole name of the toy comes. So this will explain every design feature of this toy, every decision the creators made about it, perhaps even all of the shortcuts that may or may not occur in this toy. And yes, this makes this Transformer a lot more toy in the kid meaning than most other Prime Transformers. So with that in mind, let's begin our 360 view of this toy. Even from the initial footage we can already see that the front of this truck is really nicely done. It's full of details, it's something really nice to look at. However, this also means that most of the engineering effort on this Transformer is placed in the front part of the vehicle form, and that has some sort of toll on the back. And what I mean I'm going to explain you right now with this 360. You can see that, for one, the back is sort of hollow, and you can already see the arms and the hands, as well as heel spurs and the feet. And that's not something many people may expect from a Transformer that is pretty much size of a leader class. However, this is not leader class, and as I said, this is far more toy-like than other Prime Transformers, so most of the effort went into the front, and the back is there only because it has to be, at least in this mode. With that said, let's take a closer look at what we have at hand. We shall begin the close-up session with the back, because in this case it's pretty much more obligatory than anything else, and we won't like to concentrate on it more than we need to. So let's get over with it. As you can see, this section of the vehicle mode is almost entirely hollow, exposing arms and hands in the process. Also, what will become feet and heel spurs are hollow as well, and I know some people will be turned off by this, most likely collectors and enthusiasts who will say that this could be handled by just adding two rotating flaps here and here that would cover all of this in vehicle mode. However, as I said, this is much more of a toy than your other Prime releases, and most of the costs and efforts went to the front. Also, I do believe that children for whom this is primarily addressed will overlook it. They will be happy to have a decently sized Transformer that turns into a huge, big red and blue truck. And they will simply overlook at this because they will look at the front most of the time like we will. However, there's one nice detail here in the back. We have sort of vents or thruster nozzles, I can't tell, but it looks quite nice. But not as nice as the front, which I believe is really a feast to look upon. We shall start with the front, and you can see nice, very nice multi-layered grille with Autobot logo, which is also decorated with a bumper that has many rivets, some sort of connector, as well as yellow headlights. It looks really nice, and it's just the beginning of the front. More rivets along the sides, with plenty more detail here. It looks really nice, especially when it's accented by silver paint, which is also used for the smokestacks. This looks really, really wonderful in my opinion. We have the windshield, which is clear blue plastic, not painted, in this case it's good, and it's also accented with silver paint, again very nice, and yellow lights, much like Generation 1 Optimus Prime. So Yes, overall I believe the front of this looks really wonderful. Perhaps this is my favorite front design for any Transformers Prime leader toy. And I will not say that this will outbalance the issues with this thing, because this is entirely subjective, but I do believe that this makes up a lot for what we have here, and you can see that the effort that we used to make this are visible and appreciated. This looks really wonderful, and I'm not afraid to expose this Transformer on my shelf as long as it is the front part. Also, this toy spins quite nice on the floor, and we have some nice wheels to help it look better. Now, before I go to the gimmicks of this mode, I would like to show this Transformer with some of my other truck-based Transformers. My first comparison will be with first movie leader Optimus Prime and first Revenge of the Fallen Voyager Optimus Prime. And with these two, I would like to show you that our Prime works really well when displayed next to other leader class Transformers, especially with truck mode. However, I do believe that this is not really a leader class, much like the revealers, our new deluxes and such. This is more of an upscaled ultra toy, close to a leader class but not truly a leader class. Now, I used this toy to show both that Voyagers are not really all that well looking in scale with this robot. However, I would also like to say that I do believe that these two primes share a lot of philosophy in their designs, and this will be more apparent when I go to the weapons gimmick as well as robot mode. My second comparison will be with the Deluxe class. Here you can see Revenge of the Fallen, Autobot Gears, Deluxe Prime RID Bumblebee, and RTS Turbo Trucks. And as you can see, Prime works just perfectly with this scale. It all makes sense. When we have the Voyagers, the truck is barely bigger than the vehicle modes of Deluxes, but with this Weaponizer class, it all just matches up perfectly and it works really well. So I might consider showing this Transformer off with Deluxe class a lot, because in this mode they just work perfectly. Now to address the gimmicks of this mode. Firstly, weaponizing. There are 5 ports which you can use to arm up this Transformer. The first one being the connector, which is actually a 5mm clip point, as well as 4 MechTech points here on the back, 2 on each side. And with that you can achieve a slightly more Rambo-ish Optimus. One of the possible weapon configurations is this one, in which I use 2 weapons from Generation 1 Metroplex on the back, 2 missile launchers from Hunt for the Decepticons Jet Blade, as well as 1 Gatling gun from Human Alliance Dark of the Moon Wheel. However, if you choose so, you can also use a gun that comes with this very toy. This gun that is supposed to imitate the main firing weapon from Optimus Prime. And as you can see, it has some nice detail, though it is pretty hollow inside. It can be attached to any of the 4 MechTech points on the back in this mode, and for some reason it also reminds me a lot about Leader Cybertron's Prime gun. I can't put my finger on why, but it just does. But that's not the main weapon gimmick of this toy. And the main weaponizer feature looks as follows. You see, there are 2 hidden Gatling guns under the mask of the truck, and to rapidly, spinningly even deploy them, you have to push this button, and when you do, there is some nice action. Ready? Let's do it. As you can see, there is a spring-loaded mechanism that, with help of some gears underneath, spins them into action. And if you want to reset this function, you go here, pull this lever back, and then it goes back to the starting position. Let's see it from the front. And one more time. As you can see, rewinding it is really easy. And one more time. So yes, this looks really nice. I mean, stealth mode from Dark of the Moon is one thing, but when the toy transforms into robot mode while still retaining it, that's something else. And these Gatling guns do really look nice. I suppose they could be slightly more pointing upwards, as you can see. However, I do believe that this is only because of the strength of my spring, and possibly other models that you might purchase will have a stronger spring. Still, the Gatling guns look really nice. You have 2 triple barrel sets that look really nice, as well with something, I don't know, is this just a rail? It looks like some other type of gun, but it looks nice. And you can see that we have also a second layer of the grill that helps to mask it, and this flies around freely. However, it's a nice detail that helps to hide the Gatling guns from sight. So, is this gimmick really worth it? I suppose for this toy it looks and works really well, even if this mechanism consumes this whole section of the vehicle form. But yes, as a gimmick that sells the toy, it works in my opinion. Will it work in robot mode? We shall find out after the transformation. If you're not interested in this part, you can click a link that will take you directly to robot mode. However, I guarantee you for a toy of this size, this will take no time at all. So let's begin the transformation. First thing I like to do is taking the grill and pulling it upwards like this on this double hinge, like so, and pulling it on the mask. This is where it shall be in robot mode. Now we take this entire part and detaching these clips on the sides will allow us to lift this entire back section like so. And now, using the connector from the grill, from the bumper, we shall attach the roof with this hole. So we do this, it clicks into place, and then we take the side walls, we rotate them like this, we do the same at this place. And now, I'm not sure if this is visible, but I'll try to show it somehow. Where are these? Yes. There are these protrusions that will snap into these rectangular holes over here, and this will lock these panels into place. And there we have the backpack ready. Now we have to take this down. This pretty much transforms the entirety of the legs. We can already split them up, and we have to release the arms which are locked into place. So what I like to do is to bend the knees a bit. This allows us to take the arms out with relative ease, like so. Now with that done, we can spin this like this. And now there's this double hinge that we take out like so. This will allow us to rotate this while avoiding this part and the mirror. And now what we do is spin it like this, pull this back, and while we do this we rotate this forward. And now we clip this part on this protrusion. And now we do the same with this. I'm just going to, as you can see, you can technically skip this rotation, but you just risk bending the toy and having stress marks, but it's still possible. So just snap it into place. Now you take out the head like so, and you make sure that this is upward as much as possible, because this will plug underneath. So now you connect these parts into these elements like this. We do it on the other half. We straighten out the legs while trying not to activate the feature. And now all we have to do is swivel these out, rotate the arms while watching for the back, and there you have Weaponizer Optimus Prime in his robot mode. First off, I apologize for cutting Prime's feet and smokestacks, but my studio is not yet ready for wide angles, so I have to work on that. However, beyond that, concentrating on the main toy at hand, I must say the front view is very positively surprising. I just love how this looks. I suppose the arms are slightly smaller than they are on the TV version, however the more humanoid proportions really work for me, and overall I'm impressed with how this robot mode looks. Of course, there are some small issues that I'm going to depict right now with the 360, and one of them you already know, it's the hollow legs, and the other is, well, the backpack. It's there, you can't remove it, it contains both weapon systems and all of the shell parts that had to be discarded for robot mode. And I believe some people will be put off by this a lot. However, as you can see, the joint work in the legs prevents Prime from toppling over. He has really nice joints and he will stay in balance even if you bend him slightly back. So, okay, the backpack is there, we can't help it, but at least it will not affect the display values of this toy all that much. Unless some of you want to show your Transformers from the back, which I don't believe is the case. So let's go for the details, and I shall again start with the bothersome part, the legs. Yes, they are hollow on this side, however I do not believe most of you will present your toy from this side, so it's kind of acceptable in this mode, especially that the front details are quite nice, very Prime-esque, very nice looking. It's slightly minimalistic, but it does the job. And I'm not particularly bothered by these wheels sticking up here, because I'm a huge fan of Generation 2 Laser Rod Optimus Prime, and these things are there as well. So it's not really as important for me whether this is here or on the back. Right here we have some nice torso and crotch details. Very Prime-esque again, we have this button for activating the firing gimmick. But you can still use this button on the back, so also be careful how you handle this toy, because you can accidentally fire it. And we have the lever for reloading, and I admit this could have a better shape, much like something closer to movie Optimus Prime, because in its current state it might be slightly disturbing for some people. It's not as low as it should be to be very disturbing, but still this shape might put some people off. So you probably would like to present this toy when this lever is up here, where it does not bring any confusion or disturbance. You can also see some nice details on the lower chest, very nice, and really great details on the windshields. Okay, this is pretty standard and we've seen this on other toys of the Prime. However, we have these very nice details, that this inner frame that looks a lot like Autobot logo put upside down. I can't be sure, but it does look like that, and it does look nice. We have also a very good shoulder guards, these parts moving, really good. The arms, yes, as you could see, the transformation on this is minimal, but that does a great job to the look of this. It looks very cartoon accurate. No transformation at all here, but it really helps to preserve the TV shape of this, and I really like that. And also we have some nice details on the hands if my focus works. Come on, focus work. Yeah, I think this is the best we can get, but yes, you can see, very nice. And the head, slight mix for Prime and the movie for me, but it does the job. And it has light piping, blue one, so when you put him under light source his eyes will glow in a very nice way. And just because we have to show this, the back, it's here, it's not necessarily the best thing in the universe, we can't deal with that, let it go. And we have the back parts, which are pretty much what we expect from this Prime, even if you would like to see this 2 inches closer to the head. However, we can't do this, so let's just go to the posability already. I will tell you already, this posability is not similar to, for example, Movie Leader Prime. However, it is decent and reminds me a lot about the Voyager class. So first thing that needs to be addressed, the head. Due to the fact that these 2 Gatling guns are bound to pop up on its side any moment now, the designers decided it was not necessary for the head to have all that much rotation. It does move on a ball joint, However, there is this back piece of the collar that prevents it from moving due to these little protrusions under the chin. However, I believe customizers or pretty much anyone with some knives can handle this issue if they just want to. So it's there, but it can be easily fixed. Now the arms do 360 all around, and thanks to these moving panels they can lift up to this point with a rotation here, the elbow that moves 90 degrees, and the wrists can spin 360. There is no waist joint because of this sliding mechanism. The legs can go forward like this and backwards like this due to the backpack. They can allow you to make a full split, and as you can hear there is some nice set of ratcheting joints inside, really nice. Let's just activate the feature, sorry. And these also follow in the knees. Wonderful clicking. And also due to the hollow fact of this can go slightly further than it would if this was solid. With thigh movement. And the feet, basically just this rotation, nothing beyond that point. Now I do believe that the rotation joint should be also added in the pelvis to, you see, no clicky, and this might be crucial later on. I don't believe this backpack is heavy enough to affect the stability of this toy now or ever. However, I think a ratchet joint would be in place. Now, with that said, again, before going to the weapon mode, let's have some comparisons, shall we? For my comparison robot mode, I will use, again, Movie Leader Optimus Prime, Prime RID Deluxe Bumblebee, and for a good measure, Universe 2.0 Sideswipe. And I'm using this fellow to show you why I'm not too bothered by the hollow legs. Basically, this guy got me used to it ages ago. But as you can see, this toy looks really nice with leader class. Deluxe size, they could have been slightly bigger, but it still kind of passes the exam and does a good job of portraying the size difference between Bumblebee and Optimus Prime that has been going on for ages. So overall, together with other Transformers, this looks really nice. Also, let's throw in Revenge of the Fallen Voyager Optimus Prime version 1, because as I said, these two have quite a lot in common. You can see the smokestacks on the back, you saw that the attack modes for both of these are quite similar, and the backpacks. Yes, this is the brotherhood of backpacks. Both of these toys have huge backs, and yet both do not topple over. So I do believe that they could be kind of spiritual brothers in more than one way. Now for weapon systems, you can use his gun and you can put it in his arm, in his hand, but that's not really what we came to see. And we have 6 MechTech ports for this mode, 2 on the shoulder guards and 4 from the legs. So they are there. But again, we would like to see the main Weaponizer gimmick first, and so we press this button and here it goes. Very nice, let's do it again. And I will do tell reloading this in vertical orientation is slightly harder, but still possible. So let's do it with the back button this time. Really nice. As you can see, these do flip down with the force of gravity. So there's no problem, they will lock in vehicle form at all. And they look really nice, they give really a lot of extra firepower to Prime, and they look just great. Just great. He doesn't really need to have all that much possibility in head, because all he can see are these huge barrels. And as you can see, they spin into action. Slightly different tempo for both of them, but they do, and it looks really cool. Now, one thing that I'm not sure if it's going to be viewed, but there is an electronic compartment in this. Well, electronic is too much of a word. Electric. They are 2 A76 batteries that are stored in here under this flap, and what they power is this light that you can see. Now, the funny thing is this light only pops up in a specific situation. When this whole trigger thing is in the middle of the chest, and before and after it just doesn't light up, so it goes for a just a slight moment, and then it turns off. Supposedly this is to illuminate the whole chest area, but depending on the lighting you have, it just might not work. I suppose it does change everything, but I wouldn't say it's a key function for the weapon firing mode. The key thing are these two Gatling guns, which look really great, and if we add some weapons here, here, here and here, we can have really Rambo Prime. In fact, why won't we do it before we go to the resume? Yeah, why not? Now, that looks like a good Rambo Prime. However, I will point out at this moment that the shoulder guard mech-tech points are really shallow despite what they look like, and so if you try to, for example, squeeze Metroplex guns in there, forget about it, it will not work. Even jet blades, missile launchers are pretty much holding on a word of faith, as we say in my country. Observe. There we go. No faith, no resistance, it just falls off. So do bear it in mind when you try to arm this toy. Don't put anything expensive or precious in these ports, or you'll lose it, or destroy it. So after all is said and done, it's time for my conclusions and final thoughts on this toy. And yes, I will stress the word toy a lot, because I do believe this is made a lot more for kids than for adult collectors. And for that reason we have these hollow legs that there's nothing happening about them. For that reason we have this huge backpack that stores the gimmick. Yes, this toy is all around built for this Weaponizer gimmick, and if you thought any other thing was taking priority with this one, it doesn't. So the vehicle mode looks half and half. The back looks, it could be slightly better, but the front is just amazing, and I really like the front. I like how they did it, so it's kind of average, looking at the good and bad things in it. The weapon gimmick in vehicle mode is also really nice, and I do like it. It kind of makes this Prime a bit similar to Masked Rhino vehicle. The transformation, I must admit, for all the Primes in this line I've seen, this is possibly one of the fastest one of the most, I don't know, kid-friendly one. It doesn't really involve all too much action, but thanks to this, transforming this into robot mode is simple, clean, and takes no trouble for the user. And the robot mode, again, it's built around this gimmick. That's why we have this huge backpack. But I must admit, I like the gimmick. I really do. It gives this toy some uniqueness that just makes it stand out in its own way. I do believe that this weapon gimmick is much more better than the light-up thing we have with power risers. I'm not saying this makes this toy a wonder. However, I will admit I really like the design of this. When I look at this from the front, I can't complain, it looks great. Some say the arms could be bigger, but I don't mind. I really like the human-like proportions, and as a display piece, this looks simply excellent, especially when you put it next to other Primes from the leader class. So, overall, I will say it like this. As a toy, it passes the exam. If you're looking for a collector item, it has a few glitches. However, I think these glitches can be overlooked, because if we look at the front design of the robot mode, at the front design of the vehicle mode, at the overall functionality of the weapon feature, it all passes the test in my eyes. So it's not really a toy you have to buy, but if you decide to buy it and overlook the backpack and hollow legs, I do believe you will have a quite nice purchase. So yes, it's actually worth considering to buy. With that said, I would like to finish this review and hopefully see you all next time in the near future. This has been Wallas, Poland's main toy dude. Thank you for your attention, and until next.